Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get the logo on the screen and open the info box in case someone subscribes. We can see live. And today is Monday, May the 13th, and it is 4 p.m. EST. I'm going to check my audio. I'll tell you why in a second. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, sounds good. I recorded a quick video about some new tuners. Found some really cool locking tuners that I put on an acoustic guitar the other day. Really liked them. Made a quick video, very quick video on the way to a gig, just before I left for the gig. And the sound was all like dropped. Like it was like a voice changer. The sound had dropped down. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was Ecamm Live, the Mac, or the audio interface. Because if you remember last week, I did install the new update for the Apollo Twin interface. But I don't know, couldn't post the video, have to remake it again. Let me know if the sound is fine. I was really happy with the audio last week. This microphone, the Ray microphone, has been great so far. I haven't done like a formal review. I mean, this should serve as the review. I listened, well, that's the great thing when you're actually using the product in what you do. So I did listen to last week's stream with the Ray, I had to gain a little bit louder as well, which I think is a good thing. And I compared that to the previous video from 2 weeks before with the headset. And while the headset is great and good for certain things, obviously, the actual sound, overall sound from the mic, again, obviously has that nice high end to it. It's more of an open sound with a nice high end, where the headset is a little bit boxier, just a little bit. Not quite as natural, not quite as nice to listen to. But I'll keep the headset. I'll use it for certain things. If I'm moving around a lot, it's still better to use the headset. If it's really noisy one day with construction and airplanes and trains and cars, I'll need the headset because that will bleed into the aura. But right now, all I hear is the neighbor's TV, and you probably can't hear that because it's pretty quiet. So that's good. On today's video, I've got a lot to talk about. I'm feeling a little bit tired. I'm going to drink as much water as I can. So everyone hydrate. I played yesterday and went to the dentist this morning. But I want to talk about two things today. But I want to talk about the Apple event last week with the new iPads, also the new Logic Pro, new Final Cut Pro, and what these new chips in the new iPads will mean for us music producers going forward, and even just not even music producers, but streamers and just the computer industry in general. And then I've got an update. I've got the guitar back from Sweetwater. I've got thoughts on that. And I also think I've figured out what was happening with the intonation. I've now restrung 3 guitars this afternoon, and they seem a lot better. So either that's a fluke or I figured it out. So I want to share that with you as well. In the meantime, while I talk about that, please put in any questions or things you want to talk about in the chat. I've had so many questions again this week privately. I did answer a few this week, but I'm going to draw the line. I can't answer them. I'm going to divert everyone to the live stream with their questions so I can obviously answer them as part of this in one place. That way you get to learn from what I say. I get to learn from what you say, and it's shared publicly on here. So if you do have any questions during the week, please wait and bring them here. This is what this is for. And if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. So first of all, I'll just say hi to the early comers, and then we'll take get the questions in when you can. Nick says, "Hey Aaron, looking forward to the show. Monday and Fridays are best days for us guitar nerds with your show and Phil's." Awesome. Yeah, I watched Phil's show on Fridays. I used to gig on Fridays. I'm not currently gigging regularly on Fridays, so I watch his show as well. I really love it. And then if I miss a show, I always watch it the next day while I'm doing the cleaning. I like it for that too. I mean, look, you don't need to be looking at the screen right now. Unless I show you something on the screen, you can listen. So I love to listen to these podcasts while I'm doing housework and things like that, or restringing the guitar. It's really cool. And Phil, actually, one of Phil's videos helped me with what I'm going to discuss today. So I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure I figured this out, but I've definitely made some progress. So I'm going to be sharing. Divided by Time says, "Does this thing work?" Well, I guess it does because they left a comment, so that's good. I'll be back. All right. Bedouin, hi Aaron, have a cool show. Thank you, my friend. Hi to all the watchers. Awesome. Bernard's in Suffolk and Rosanna is in... I forgot where Rosanna's is. But she is moderating, and I appreciate it a lot. Miguel, hey Aaron, I have the eVerse 8. Do you think the Mackie Showbox is better or an improvement? I've had this question. I don't know if it was from you, but I've had this question this week from so many people. And I actually have a little thing I want to say about that as well. Maybe I'll start with that as you put it in for a question. Mad for it says, hello, Aaron, all in the chat. Good to see you, Graham. Lee, again, thanks for moderating, my friend. Patsy's here, sounds good. And Paul's here. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. It was so weird last week. It sounded like one of those voice changes. Let's start with this, because this has been a thing this week. I just want to say something. Like, I can answer the question about what you need. Well, I can and I can't. Here's the thing, right? And I don't want this to come across as condescending or rude, but and this is something that I used to do. I used to go on forums years ago before I started the YouTube channel and say to people, what is the best, right? What is the best pickup? What is the best guitar? What is the best Martin? What is the best PA system, right? So I've come to realize from having all these questions lately, because on all the videos now are getting so many questions, even the old videos. And of course, the question I always get is, what is the best? Which one should I buy? And I totally understand that. You just want to know what to buy, to not waste your money, to get on with it. You're not making videos like I am. You don't want to like analyze everything. You want to buy the thing and get on with it, right? And start playing music. I totally get that. But I say this every week, you just have to understand that there is, first of all, there is no perfect product. Now, a lot of companies will say that, and sometimes you think to yourself, well, they're just saying that because they want us to buy everything. And there is an element of truth in that as well. But the biggest thing for me is that occasionally there is a perfect product, very occasionally. But more regularly than that, there are products that are top of their class. Right, so if you look at something like acoustic guitars, right, most people will say, what's the best acoustic guitar? Most people will say, we're going to say Martin, Taylor, someone might say Takamine, someone might say Cole Clark, someone might say Rain Song, right, and no one's going to deny that they are not at the top of their game. Now, you might not like them, and this is kind of taking me into what I'm going to say. You might not like Taylor guitars. You might not like Martin guitars. You might think they sound flubby and too bassy and boomy, right? But you can't deny that a lot of people like them, and you can't deny that they're not at the top of that category. They are. So what I'm trying to say is I need more information. Like if you're going to say to me, well, which acoustic guitar is the best in your opinion? I'm going to say, what are you doing? I say this every week, don't I? What are you doing with it? Where are you playing? How many people are you playing to? What kind of music are you playing? Do you sing? Do you only play? Do you loop? Do you need to pick up? You see, I do need I need this background information. So with the speakers, I've had a few people this week say to me, and I get it. Like right now we have the Bose S1 Pro Plus. We have the eVerse 8. We have the Mackie Showbox and a bunch of others. And there are new ones coming every week, like with the electric guitar market, with the electric guitar modeling amps. We're now seeing the same with the battery-powered speakers because they sell. They're popular. They sell a lot of them, so everyone's making them now. Totally. So same thing. What comes to mind as the top of their class? The Bose S1 Pro Plus. It was the original, and people love it. It's been a huge success for them. They made the Plus version after the original. It was the first one to do it. And the pros of that product, pardon the pun, is that it's the lightest. It's the smallest and the lightest. Now it also means it's not the most powerful. But I carried the eVerse 8 to a gig on Saturday, and I wish I'd taken the S1 Pro Plus because those extra few pounds were annoying to me. So the eVerse 8 has some features that doesn't have. It's bigger. It's a bit louder. It has a more detailed app. Some people like that, some people don't. It has phantom power. The Bose doesn't. So you see where I'm going with this. And I feel like I've said this a lot of times, but I'll say it again. And then we go onto the Mackie Showbox. No app. So do you want an app? Well, you can't buy that. But more inputs than the others. Have you got a Duo? You need to buy that. You can't buy the other one. You got a Duo. So that's where I'm going with this. I need to know, if someone wants to know what I really suggest for them, it's not possible for me just to say the S1 Pro Plus is the best. Now, I happen to think out of the box that sounds, well, it's probably my favorite tonally out of the box, and it's the lightest. But that doesn't make it the best, because if you buy that and it's not loud enough, or you have a Duo, that's not the right product for you. I mean, you could buy two of them, but you're asking me which one to buy, not which two to buy, right? So if you tell me, these are the questions you need to ask yourself, and you can ask me now, and you can tell me now. Where are you playing? And that's really hard to answer, because you might be playing in a small living room one week and in a massive outdoor stage the next week. So you've got to be realistic here. What is this for? You know, is it for bars? If you know you're always going to be playing in assisted living homes, then that straight away narrows you down to the Bose is going to be great for that, because they're not going to want a ton of volume. They want that small footprint. If you play those places and also you sometimes do noisy bars with a Duo, you might want to look at the Mackie, maybe even the Mackie and the Bose, and then you could combine the two if you then play places that are even bigger than that. So you've really got to think like this, and you've got to think, right, how many inputs do I need? I mean, I need two inputs and potentially a microphone for a guest speaker. I don't want to give them my microphone. But I also use the Play Acoustic. Here's another question. Do you use pedals? Because I use the Play Acoustic and the Voice Live 3 Extreme, that combines my mic and guitar into one input. Therefore, that frees me up that second input for a guest microphone. So that's why I don't need all the 6 inputs of the Mackie. I don't need that. I can run that Play Acoustic into the Bose or the Everse and then have that extra input free for a guest musician or usually a speaker. And the Bose is great because you have that built-in wireless system, so the speaker can have a wireless mic if you buy the accessory. What else? Yeah, so the weight. Does the weight matter? Do you drive in a car to your gigs? If you do, the weight doesn't really matter at all, does it? Not really. If you carry, so on Saturday, I had to carry the amp and the bag and the mic stand and the guitar for 10 minutes. That was pretty miserable. Even a 17-pound speaker, a 17-pound bag, the guitar and the mic stand on my back. That was pretty miserable. I didn't have a good time. It's getting hot here. I was sweating. I could still do with losing some weight. So all that combined, it wasn't a great experience. And I realized I was playing in a low volume venue. I didn't need to be loud. I needed the sound to be spread out at a low volume. The Bose would be better for that gig. So from experience now, I know next time I'll take the Bose. So I'm lucky. I've got the Bose, the Everse 8, and the Showbox. So I can tailor each one to what I'm doing, or I could even take all three if I needed to. But if you look at it by them just one and you want to know what I would get, that's how you got to think about it. I could tell you that my favorite one that I played this week out of the box when I compared them was the Bose S1 Pro Plus. And that has been my experience with my guitar, but maybe not with your guitar. That's the other thing. What pickup are you plugging into this thing? Because with the particular guitar that I plugged in that day to that speaker and turned it on, it sounded the best. But that's not to say that another pickup system would sound the best out of the box. There's no such thing as an AI speaker, unfortunately. One day they'll make a speaker that reads the room, reads your guitar, and programs it to sound the best. But what we're getting with these battery-powered speakers right now is, you open it up, you turn it on, that sound stage that is built in, that speaker that's built in, the voicing they've given it, won't work for everyone's voice. It won't work for everyone's guitar. It's not possible. You get kind of lucky, So I remember a few weeks ago, I plugged in, I can't even remember now, I think it was the Cole Clark, into all three, and I just thought, off the bat, the Bose had the best sound. But I wouldn't take that to a noisy bar because it wouldn't be loud enough. So you see, there's just so many elements here. There is no best thing with a speaker, especially when it has this many elements to it, because these battery-powered speakers have battery power, they're portable, they have most of them have an app, some don't. The Mackie has a mixer, some don't. So there's just so many elements to this. And the only reason I'm harping on about this is I've just had this question so many times in the last month. Which one is the best? They're the questions you need to ask yourself, and they're the things you need to think about. I recommend them all. I've reviewed them all. I've praised them all. They're all great at what they do, but they're all very different. It's just like with the Helix, the Kemper, the Quad Cortex, the Fractal, the Neuro, all this stuff. They're all great. Again, they're all first-class devices. They really are, but they're not for everybody. Same thing. If you need a mic input, you don't buy the Kemper. If you need to plug in voice in, you don't buy the Kemper. If you need to profile your own amp, you don't buy the Helix, right? You've just got to break this down a bit more than just say which one is the best. So that's my little rant there. Miguel says it's a matter of... So no, I wouldn't... It is a matter of opinion, yes, to a degree, but it's more... I'm hearing a ring in here. It's more about the application. It's the application and the opinion combined. There definitely are products that I've played where I just say, look, I just don't like it. I can think of a guitar now, I'm not going to name it, but there's products that I've played, I'm like, I just don't like it. I don't see why people like it, right? That's opinion. But the application is also important. And with that particular guitar, the application of that guitar would have been perfect for someone like me, but I didn't like the guitar enough. So it's really both things combined, right? It's the application and the opinion. So a lot of times lately, I'm just getting asked for my opinion. That's not enough. I need to know the application as well. And that really breaks down to so many things. The guitar pickup, the microphone, the singer, the songs you're playing, the room you're playing, the amount of people in that room, the features you need, the inputs you need. Do you need an app? So you get it. I just need to know a full breakdown. So, like I said, I've had some people reach out on email. Please, I can't do that much detail. If you want to come here on a Monday and give me all that breakdown, the whole scenario and the chat, then I can probably recommend you something very easily. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Graham is here. Lee is... Oh, I already said that. Hi, Paul. Good to see you. Oh, Lee's in Cornwall. That's right. Home of corn. Miguel says 100% agrees. I have opinion. My question would be then, which is louder? Okay, well, this is easy. You don't need me to answer this. This is all online. The Everse 8 or the Mackie for a noisy bar. So the best way to do this, well, there is one caveat to this. I've been told by many manufacturers and people in the industry, let's just say, that a lot of the reports you read online, the tech specs are either, I don't want to say made, they're enhanced, or basically sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. All right, so I'll just do it right now. So if you go, the best place to do this is the user guide. So if you want, go to the Bose S1 Pro Plus user guide and see what the dB. So the dB is a decibel. That's as loud as it will get, and also the wattage. The wattage is the power. Unfortunately, you don't really know how they've made those measurements. So if something says it's 100 dB, it might say measured a meter away, but it might say measured a centimeter, an inch away. You need to. Sometimes they leave things out like that. And also, unless it's the same person measuring everything themselves, they can't be exactly correlated, right? But if you go to, let's see here, I'm going to jump onto the web. You go to Sweetwater, right? I mean, this is not the right place to do it. I'm just doing it because it's easier for me. But like I said, go to the official website, get the user guide for each product, and then look for these stats. I've looked at them before. I can't remember what they are. So I just want to show you how to do this. So look, the Bose S1 Pro Plus, 150 watts. That is not very powerful. Don't think about tube amps. A 150 watt tube amp will blow you away. We're not talking about tube amps here. We're talking about digital amps, right? They're not as powerful. But at the same time, you can't expect it to be because it's 14.4 pounds. And usually a bigger speaker is louder than a smaller speaker. So that's why I see a lot of people saying, oh, the Bose isn't very loud. Yeah, but it's the most portable. So what do you expect? You can't have everything in life, that's for sure. And then they should put on here as well the actual dB. I don't see the dBs on here, but in the user guide it will say the dB rating. I may have just missed it. I don't want to be on here too long, but yeah, you can do it. So get the user guide for this, get the user guide for the other ones you're interested in. Write down the wattage and the dBs and also the weight of the product and the size of the product. And then you can decide which one's good for you. Now, the reason the eVerse 8 is cool is because they went for something in the middle. They added 3 pounds to the Bose, making it 17 pounds-ish. And they also gave it a much more powerful power amp. But if I type in that here, I think it's 450, but I don't give you the wrong information. So yes, it is bigger. It is bigger and heavier, but the trade-off relative to the power you get is greatly enhanced. So actually, look, I was wrong. 16.8 pounds. That's really impressive. That's not that much heavier. And it's 400 watts. Interesting, it says when it's fully charged. Does that mean it's less when it's not fully charged? I never tried that. But anyway, 400 watts versus 150 watts. Now, to be clear as well, that doesn't mean it's like 2 or 3 times louder. No, like it doesn't work like that. It doesn't go up as you'd expect it to. But it is going to have much more power than the Bose, right? Does this one have... Okay, here we go. This one can hit 121 decibels. You'll also notice, and this is worth bearing in mind as well, the volume that you run the thing at affects the battery life. So if you do run it on full tilt, you get 3 hours of battery life. If you run it at 95 dB, which is pretty loud for a regular gig, you're going to get 12 hours of battery life. So the harder you push it, the more battery. It makes sense, right? You're pushing it harder, it's getting hotter, it's going to run out of battery faster. That definitely makes sense. And that's why this is this is why the product's done so well, because it's not much heavier than the Bose and it is louder than the Bose. I think the Bose is 110 or something. So it is louder. But like I said, the Bose is still smaller. It is still lighter. It does have a really nice sound out of the box. So that's why those two are really at the top of my list most of the time for those reasons. I still prefer a regular PA and a mixer. I just can't always justify taking it. I still think these battery-powered speakers are a little bit overrated by a lot of people. I think a lot of people are looking all the time for convenience and battery power that could just take a regular PA system and a mixer. And that will always sound better. I say it all the time. A QSC K8.2 and a digital mixer is going to blow away these products, but you won't have battery power, and it will be heavier, and it will take longer to set it up. So it's all this stuff is a trade-off at the end of the day. So loud. Oh, sorry, you said EV8 or the Mackie. eVerse 8 or Mackie, I think they're about the same because they're both 450 watts. But I mean, a noisy bar. I was using the QSC CP8, which is their budget 8-inch speaker, 1,000 watts, and sometimes I struggle with that. I really think if you're doing a noisy bar, personally, I mean, but here's the problem: what is a noisy bar? When you say a noisy bar, there's a noisy bar and there's a noisy bar, right? But if you're doing a sports bar on a Saturday night and people are going nuts and singing and shouting and screaming, I think you should just get a QSC K8.2 and a real mixer. Because these battery-powered things are really for busking, smaller performances. They don't have that kind of volume and headroom and clarity that a real, I don't like saying real stuff, but you know what I mean, a real speaker has. Do you have an opinion on the Acus amps I play at home, considering I've never tried them? I think I was meant to at one time and it never happened. So I have not tried them, but I've only heard good things about them. Jim, good to see you, buddy. Oh, you want my thoughts on that? You want them? Do you want to hear? I tell you what. Let me give you my stories quickly because there's some really good questions and rant opportunities coming up here. I'll be quick, and I think this is important stuff to talk about. So first of all, did you watch last week Apple released the new iPads. Now, I do think iPads are important for musicians because a lot of musicians use them. I sold my iPad. I really should have one, simply because, like, if I do a band gig, my mixer uses an iPad. I can use the phone though, and I prefer to use the phone. But a lot of musicians do use iPads for lyrics and recording and different things like that. So I'll give you the quick overview of these. They're getting way more expensive, unfortunately, the Pro model at least. But it's got an amazing screen, very thin. I was disappointed because I'm hoping that they'll let them. They're so powerful now. They're running the latest chips, which are more powerful than in their laptops. I was hoping they'd finally let us run Mac OS on it. And the reason I want that is because there's still a lot of music apps, like the app that controls my Quad Cortex pedal, that doesn't have an app. If they let us run a simple version of Mac OS on these iPad Pros, I could control the pedal from the iPad. I would then consider buying an iPad Pro. They didn't announce that, but the big software update for Apple, and by the way, there's a load of software updates today if you've got Apple products. Their big event is next month, WWDC, the Developers Conference. And that's where they talk about software. So a lot of us are thinking they're going to announce next month that in September, you'll be able to run Mac OS on an iPad. If that happens, they're going to sell way more. I would buy one straight away. If it doesn't happen, it's just a glorified thing. I mean, it's good for certain people. It's good for artists. It's good for people that want an iPad and know they want an iPad. But for me, I just much prefer having a MacBook Pro and an iPhone. But the ironic thing is that these iPads that are out on Wednesday are running a chip which is called the M4, which is more powerful than the chip in the Apple laptops. It's amazing. And apparently they're going to do more AI stuff. And I really want to talk about AI in the video. I did something recently. I'll give you a little sneak peek. AI can be a bit hit and miss, but I typed some of my song lyrics from my old album into a website, AI website, and it made a version of my song that sounds amazing. I mean, not saying my song sounds, it made the song, and it has a singer, and it's so believable. And this AI stuff is getting crazy. And it's also made me realize, like, this whole gear thing is silly because people are arguing, does a Helix sound like a tube amp? And what acoustic guitar piezo sounds the best? Meanwhile, AI can generate a whole piece of music, original piece of music with original melody in 5 minutes that sounds better than any of those products combined. And the industry is totally missing out here because, you know, again, like a Kempo is 10 years old, a Helix is 10 years old. You load a few blocks into those and they can't load any more blocks. They've run out of DSP. Well, why aren't Line 6 using the iPad, the new iPad with that new chip? If you plug the cable from that into a floor pedal, I've said this many times before, but it's even more important now, that thing could run 100 times what the Helix can run. It could be amazing, but they won't do it because they want to sell you a Helix. They want to sell you the hardware. But no hardware can compete with these products anymore. This is the most powerful computer chip in any device ever. It blows all these products away. So you might think, oh, the Quad Cortex came out 4 years ago. It's got a quad-core processor. It's got a lot of DSP. It's a cool product. It is. And I still like all-in-ones. They tend to be more stable, etc., etc. But when is someone going to sell just different size controllers that you plug in with the USB-C cable to an iPad and let you have a device that's 100 times more powerful than a Quad Cortex? Think of what they could do with that processing power. It could, I mean, for professional musicians, it would probably be worth buying the iPad Pro and that controller just as your guitar rig, because nothing else will be as powerful as that. Nothing. No one's talking about this. And then with AI, you think TC Helicon is good when it can generate a harmony from my guitar chord? Imagine what AI could do. It could generate the harmony, pitch correct it, change it into a female singer. There's so much that is being missed out on because guitar companies are stuck in the past They're locked into, we want our own hardware, we want to control everything, maximize profits. Okay, fair enough. But no one has tapped into this. It's crazy. There are a few apps for guitar on the iPad right now, but none of them are like completely optimized for the power that they have. And none of them make their own controller that you plug in that all talks to it in an easy way. There's a huge missed opportunity here. You mark my words, someone's going to start doing this and it's going to be incredible. But no one's talking about this and it's going to be amazing. So anyway, the other thing I want to quickly mention is there's going to be a new Logic. So Logic Pro, the DAW I use on my Mac, is being updated to take advantage of this. It will be on the iPad and on the Mac as well as Final Cut Pro. And they are starting to put AI into Logic Pro, which is exciting. It's going to have things like if you drop in a file, it will separate it into different parts. You can do that now with websites, but it'll be built into Logic. I can't wait. This should be out right now. I can't wait to try this today to see if it works as well as they say it will. And also, it's all about AI. I was just saying, it's got intelligent drummer, bass player, keyboard player. So you should be able to enter some chords into Logic, and then it will generate those tracks for you to use. Now, this could also be great for performers because you could enter in the chords to Wonderwall. It could generate some of the tracks, and you could export those as loops into your pedal. So this is really exciting. I really hope it works well. I'm really worried that it won't. Honestly, I'm really worried it's going to suck. But with the power of these Apple products and the fact that this Logic is built by Apple, this should work great. There's no excuse for this not to work great. And this is a free update out today for existing users. If not, you can buy the product if you've got an Apple product. So really exciting stuff here in this end of the market for me. That's all I got to say about that for today. I'm going to come back to the chat, and I do want to fill you in on this Sweetwater thing about the intonation. But let's come back and do some more questions. Now, in regards to the Sheeran Looper X, just totally disappointed. Again, let's do a rant. I'll give you it as a rant. So, Sheeran Loopers is basically Head Rush, and they've had products in the... I'm going to try and condense this. I'm sure I've said this before. It's been said by other people. They've released products in the past and kind of had beta updates and then made people wait around, and then they abandoned the product and they released the Sheeran version. Now, I can forgive that if the new product is excellent. You know, a lot of people will be upset. A lot of people are going to say, hey, we bought money, we spent money, we got the product. Yes, we can use it, but we feel like you abandoned it to do something new with Ed Sheeran. I can kind of see both sides. I personally would excuse that if the new product that came out of the gate with Ed Sheeran was amazing, because they've got Ed Sheeran, one of the greatest loopers on the planet, working with them. But in one of his videos where he talks about the new looper, he says he's opening it for the first time. Now, he might mean opening that production box for the first time, but it just feels to me a bit like he put his name on it to make another product in his lineup of products. When he performs, he doesn't use those loopers. He uses his big looper. But they've put a sticker on that saying it's a Sheeran looper. Well, it is. It's in the family, but you can't buy it. You can buy the Plus and the X that he doesn't use on stage. And the thing that annoyed me the most, and this is happening all the time now with stuff. Stuff comes out and it's not ready. Talk about Apple. I was watching a podcast the other day. They said that Apple at that event said some of the features are coming at the end of the year. And they were really mad. They said that's like going to McDonald's, ordering a Big Mac, and they say you'll get the Big Mac next month and you die of starvation. That made me laugh out loud because it's absolutely true in every industry now. They're making us wait for stuff. You can buy it today and we'll give you that feature in 6 months' time. It's ridiculous. And that's what they did with these loopers. Yes, they work. Yes, you can use them. But they're missing so much basic stuff. They should not have released it in that state. And just to prove I haven't just got sour grapes here because I'm not Ed Sheeran, I have some proof here as well. One YouTuber said that he'd been working with Sheeran loopers to add basically firmware for other people because those loopers are the Ed Sheeran loopers. They're made for Ed Sheeran's productivity. That's fine. That makes sense. But he went on video the next day to say, well, I'm working with them on the firmware for the rest of us. Well, that was 2 months ago and they still haven't released it. So I don't agree with that, because you're basically saying to people, hey, go and buy one, because in a few weeks or days or hours or minutes, you're going to have this amazing new firmware. It's not here. And yes, it may materialize tomorrow and I'll look stupid, but it's already been too long. It's already been 2 months that people have bought this product and it doesn't have what they wanted. I will defend Sheeran loopers as well and say, if you buy a product that doesn't do what you want with a glaring omission and you don't return it, and you can return it and you don't return it, that's on you. You have to stop doing that. I've done it myself. I've bought stuff. I put it in the closet. I think that will be great for a video one day. They're going to improve it. And it just, time and time again, it doesn't happen. It's so annoying. And we do put up with it, but it's time we stop putting up with it, returned those products, emailed the company and said, look, that's not acceptable. That should have been there from day one. And one more little thing to back up my claim here. A friend of mine, very good friend of mine on the local circuit, I won't say who it is, but they bought one, extremely excited about it. And I thought, here we go. We'll see how, see what happens with them. I like to sit back sometimes and see what happens with others when they buy gear. And he loved it, and it's great. It looks great. I'm a fan of Ed Sheeran. Everything's cool. And then a few days later, I'm not using it anymore. I realize it doesn't do this, doesn't do this. It's got this bug. And then the week after that, I'm returning it, and I've got to pay a restocking fee. You see, terrible. That shouldn't happen, because companies do not work with working musicians. And I say work with, I think people should be compensated. But I see it all the time. I go to NAMM and I say to companies like, I'll work with you on this. I'll help you develop this product. So when it comes out, not only have you had my input into it, also when I make my video about the coverage of it on the channel, I know it really well. And I can really talk about it in detail, in high detail, rather than you send it to me after you've already announced it. Everyone's made videos on it. I feel like I have to cover it as soon as I can. I rush the video out, not rush it out, but I haven't had that time to truly get to know the product. Like if you ask me about Martin guitars today versus 10 years ago, you just get such better information, because I've tried all of them multiple times, right? So companies still don't really get that. They do work with some people. I know, like Phil McKnight, they work with him. I wish more companies like Sheeran Loopers had worked more closely with people in the, from working musicians up to YouTube loopers. So when that thing came out, it just smoked everything. Now, maybe they didn't need to. I mean, it's sold out. Do they care? It's sold out. And they can't keep them in stock anyway. So maybe they don't need to do that. But you have to look around on Facebook. You'll see so many people that are disappointed in that release. And same with Quad Cortex. Same with lots of products. So many products that just feel that they just could have had a few more months and then really made an impact, rather than just get them out the door to meet a certain time frame. And look, I don't work in the industry. I know people have timelines and they have to get stuff out. I'm terrible at meeting deadlines myself. I wouldn't be good for that stuff. But yeah, that's my rant about it. I just don't like seeing people spending money on things that are clearly not ready. You wouldn't buy a car with only 3 wheels, right? So, having said that, no, I haven't tried the I haven't tried the X. It might be awesome. I might love it, but I deliberately didn't get one because I sat back to see what other people experience. I'm only seeing a lot of complaints right now, so I'm just not gonna. Why would I bother? Because I don't want to get one. I know already that it's not going to work out. So I don't want to get one and come on here and say, well, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do this, it doesn't. I found this problem, doesn't do that, blah blah blah. There's no point. I've already seen it online, and that's why it's good to look around online and see what others are saying. Thank you, Rosanna. I see. Yeah, that's why I just paused for a second reading that comment. I'm going to ban that person. Oh, okay. So anyway, Paul says, I already have the Bose S1 Pro. I'm thinking about adding the S1 Pro Plus. That should cover it. Okay, there you go. Yeah, great. If you've got both of them, then you can take one or the other, and you can always use one as a monitor. You can use two as a PA. Yeah. Help with device is always so helpful. I'm trying not to, I feel like I'm being a bit condescending in my tone today. I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be matter of fact and help you out. Because the only advice I can give you is my experience. And the only way I have the experience I have is that I've just bought and sold so much stuff. I almost swore there. So much stuff. And, you know, I've learned the hard way. I was watching a video the other day where someone said, I never liked this particular guitar. I have a guitar now that I love. And over time, I've come to realize, you know, what I like from trying lots of stuff. I mean, to me, that just seems so obvious. Everyone watching today that's here to learn about gear and to buy equipment for their shows, you're going to learn that over time yourself, what works for you. And it probably be something that I didn't recommend to you at all. That's how you really learn. But all I can do is kind of tell you what my experience is. And obviously, if I've had a terrible experience with terrible customer service, that could really save you a lot of hassle. If it's a bit more subjective, what you should do is take that information, put it in the back of your mind, and then go and try it for yourself. And of course, this is getting harder and harder now with the guitar stores closing down. Unfortunately. Miguel said, just check some power EV and Mackie if EV is lighter a bit. Yeah, see, the great thing with the EV is it sits right in the middle. They really killed it on that weight. 17 pounds, whatever it is, was really impressive. I mean, it's still heavy if you're walking with it 10 minutes, but it is impressive. The power to weight ratio and the way they made the app. And again, talking about gear, their app was great from, I won't say day one, but from when I got the Everse 8, the app was amazing. It was great. And then you look at a company like the JBL stuff, I'm still not happy with that app where it's at right now. It's a lot better, but it's still not where I want it to be. And that's been years. So you got to give them credit for that as well. The Bose app is also great, but it's not as detailed as the Everse app. Jack says, hi, sorry I'm late. Do you have any Play Acoustic profiles you'd be willing to share? I'm trying to build some, but I would like to compare with a pro. I can't share them. I do have one that I use for my gigs. But it would just take too long to go through it. If you, like, you don't have to do this. It's up to you. But I do private video chats. I charge for it, like a 30-minute or an hour session, and I'm quite happy to get the one I use at gigs and show you the screens and I could send you the pictures of each screen and talk you through why I do that thing. I'm happy to do that. And if you want to do that, send me an email. But I'll give you a little quick tip. That's my email's at the top of the screen. What I did when I got one, I felt the same way. I wasn't sure what to do. So I set up the guitar with the levels, everything in the settings. And then I just went through and favorited the effects that I liked. It's like the first one is like a third above vocal effect. I made that a favorite. And then I found the next effect I wanted, made that a favorite. So basically what I'm doing is I'm scrolling through favorites that I've found. Then I made the guitar effects global, so they don't change with each preset. They're always the same. And I dialed them in to what I needed for the songs or the way that I play. And I basically used that for 10 years. So, yes. And also, a bit like I said earlier on today, my settings may not work for you. But if you want me to do a thing with you, like a session, then send me an email. Thomas Moore, how you doing? Good to see you. Boomer, good to see you. Value your honesty, experience, and opinions. Yeah, I just, I've seen a few people kind of stop doing this lately, and I just love it. I love talking about this stuff, and I love learning about this stuff. I do feel pretty happy with my rig these days. I really feel like I've got the guitars, equipment, and pedals that I need. I'm currently selling off a load of stuff. And I've also got the point where I realize there's no return on this stuff. You do need to basically like I said earlier, there's no perfect product. You do need to decide what works for you and stick with it. Otherwise, you'll be buying and selling guitars forever. And that's not a good thing to be doing right now in this current market. You're going to lose a lot of money. Jack says it's a bit overwhelming. A lot of people have said that the Play Acoustic and especially the Voice Live 3 Extreme are too complicated. I'd be the first to admit that they are. They really are not. You have to get into their headspace. That's all it is. You have to get your headspace in what they were thinking when they made the product, and then it's really easy. But they were working musicians that developed those products, and they had a working musician mentality, which I think is amazing. But you don't see that mentality in many other products, and therefore you've got to kind of hone in on what they were thinking at the time. And once you do, if you stick with it long enough, it'll be great. Not like MIDI, where I spend hours and days and weeks and months on it, and I still didn't really understand it. Finally programmed my stuff, and then a year later, I couldn't remember anything that I did. That's not the case with these products. You just have to, the time you put in will be rewarded in the long run. Right, one more, and I'm going to talk about this intonation thing, because I know I've been harping on about it for a long time. I had fun at bar open mic last night. Played Stormy, fun tune for the times. Also entertained my mama bear and 3 cubs in a tree next to bar patio. Nice. Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day for yesterday. Right, let me tell you this story. I probably won't ever talk about it again, but I do need to clarify this because I've been talking about this for a while, and I want to get your opinion as well. If you play acoustic guitar, I really want to know what you think about this. And I still haven't got an ultimate conclusion, but I've just done something with 3 guitars that seems to resolve the issue. So that can't be that. I mean, can that be a fluke? Maybe. Acoustic guitars, sometimes they say the weather affects them. But anyway, I'm gonna try to keep it short and tell you what happened with this intonation thing I've been dealing with for months and see what you think about it. So, I'll try and keep this as short as I can. If you've been following the channel, you know what I'm going to say. A couple of years ago, I switched to the Dario XS strings, which I think are great strings. And what happened was I figured out one day that the D string was flat on the intonation. And when I say the intonation, what I mean is this. I don't mean all over the guitar. Guitars all have imperfect intonation unless you get the compensated frets and all those squiggly frets, right? Basically, if you can do this right now, if you've got a good tuner, you have to have a good tuner. Something like the Peterson strobe tuner. You need a strobe tuner. You can get this as an app for your phone if you want to get that. You play the open D string and you then fret, and you get it perfectly in tune, so the line's not moving. And then you fret it at the 12th fret and play it again. And what I found was the note was 15 cents, which is noticeable. Basically moving to the left, it was flat. Right, so at the time, I said it must be the D'Addario strings. I must have remember this was a long time ago. I said, I think I got some bad sets of strings. So I ordered some from different places. I wrote on their packets where they came from. I was going to get a refund on those. I don't think I ever did, but I was sure it was just the strings. I got some bad strings because it just completely baffled me. So I kind of went on and I thought it got better and I tried some other strings that didn't seem to make a difference, but I didn't really think about it. And then a few months ago, I really started to think about it because I was started to solo even more than usual because I always use a loop pedal at gigs. I always take solos to take up some time and I like to solo. And I just started doing more songs in D and G and soloing around the 12th fret. I just kept thinking, man, there's a problem here. On the guitars I was using at the time, which was the Cole Clarks, and then the Maton during that time, I was just thinking, there's something really weird going on here. This D string sounds flat, and it was driving me crazy. I thought it must just be, I don't know, just acoustic guitars. No, I couldn't find any videos about it. There's videos where people say you can fix that by filing down your saddle and this kind of stuff. Not very many though. And I just thought, well, this is just a weird thing with acoustic guitars. But I had to get to the bottom of it. So I came on a few weeks ago and said, look, I'm just going to send this guitar, which at this time is now the Maton Joe Robinson. I said, I'm going to send this to Sweetwater and maybe getting it plecked will fix the problem. But in hindsight, it wouldn't fix that problem. But I kind of wanted the guitar to be plecked anyway. And I thought, right, while it's there, they can look at this problem and tell me why it's doing it. Maybe they can make me a new saddle and compensate the saddle. And the way you do that on an acoustic guitar is you would file off the edge of the saddle to make this. Basically, it's the string from the nut to the saddle, right? It has to be, the 12th fret has to be exactly in the middle. And you can adjust the nut and the saddle, obviously, by sanding them down, right? You can bring them in, bring them out. That's how you'd fix it. I saw a video the other day where they made a wider saddle in the slot. So you have more surface area to sand down, things like that. So I thought, well, maybe they can do something like that. And then the pleck, and then it'll be great. I just want to get to the bottom of this issue. So I sent them the guitar, and I'll do a quick review of this process as well. I had to pay to ship them the guitar. It took them a few weeks to look at it because they give priority to their customers. So if you buy a new Martin and you want them to put a pickup in, that will get priority. The repair department seems to come in after that. So I had to wait about 2 or maybe 3 weeks for them to look at the guitar. Well, they said to me, right, there's no issue. The tech put new strings on and it's fine. And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. This isn't possible. Like they're not testing it right. So I sent them a video that I put on YouTube privately of the issue. And the issue clearly shows the D string is 15 cents flat. That's a lot, right? And I feel like I'm in a musical therapy session right now. And I guess I am. And I thought, well, maybe it's me. Maybe it's something I'm doing. Or maybe it's a fluke. Maybe they got a good set of strings or something. And I will just cover this quickly. I did mention the pleck. They said the pleck may help. This is the problem. It may help. And it may make the guitars play better. So to that, I said to them, you know what? Here's some feedback from me. I really think with this pleck thing, you should be willing to like charge me $50 because it's like $300 for a pleck. I think you should be, that includes a setup, but I think it'd be great if you would charge me $50 and then you tell me exactly what the pleck will do. If you watch videos on how they pleck guitars, it's really interesting. Like they see on the screen, the graph, they see what's wrong with it. They see everything and they can see if it will improve it or not. Okay, so that was my feedback. I wasn't willing. I decided not to do the pleck. I'm like, I'm not going to pleck something and not know what changed because it's such a minute adjustment that most guitars don't really benefit from. It's so minute that I need to see the proof. Like if you show me, well, it made that fret there a lot clearer and that'll be a lot better for that. I mean, even if you don't really hear it or feel it, at least you know scientifically that you've seen what was changed. To not see the proof, I don't know. That doesn't really work for me. And I know other people that run a pleck machine do show that evidence of what was changed. So I do hope they change that policy in the future. Right. Raul, if I'm saying your name right, D string, you see? I'm going to get to the solution that I think I found in a minute. So, got the guitar back. Very happy. They paid the shipping back, not damaged at all. Price was good, about $70 or something for the work they did. They basically just made me a new saddle. And because I'd taken the file to the old saddle, I wanted a new replacement saddle. So I took out the box, and sure enough, everything was fine. Now, the A string was slightly sharp, not bad. But the D was perfect. I thought, right, what is going on here? So I did what I had to do. I took the strings off and put a new set of strings on myself. And what happened? The D string went flat. Okay, now I'm thinking, okay, it's either the strings are real hit and miss, or it's the way I'm putting the strings on. I hear the cat eating something outside. I'm freaking out. Hopefully it's not a guitar. Either it's the string. Either it's the way I'm putting the strings on, the strings are defective that I get. Okay. Give me 1 second. I got to stop this cat before it does something really bad. Hang on. I will come back in 1 minute and finish this story. need a holiday is what she said to me. I need to get away from you. And as I watch the light... Yeah, he's out there eating tape off a box. And if a cat eats tape, you get a nasty mess a few days later. Right, where was I? So, and then please put your thoughts about what I'm saying in the chat. I really want, this is all research. The only reason I sent the guitar to Sweetwater is part of a research thing. I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to talk about it on the channel. If it is my fault, that's fine. I just want to make these things better, right? And share the information. That's all I'm doing. And experience. So I played it at the gig yesterday and it was flat. So today I thought, right, I'm going live. I want to talk about this. I'll try a few things. So I watched a bunch of videos on restringing guitars, and I've been restringing thousands of guitars, and some guitars are fine, but just lately some of the guitars have this problem. And why is it only on that string? It's absolutely bizarre. There was one video I found where they said you can take the bridge pin and sand it down. Every bridge pin has a slight angle to the bottom, but you can sand it down more to help the string guide through the pin. So I thought, right, I'll try that. So I did it. I took some sandpaper. I put more of an angle on the bottom of the pin to help the string glide into that pin, that pin slot. And I put it back in and it made no difference. So kind of a cool tip, but it didn't fix my problem. Now, as part of that video, I think this was there was two really good videos, Phil McKnight and another YouTuber who's awesome. Some of them are very throwaway. They're just going through the motions. These two actually are real experienced technicians and they're great videos. But they both did something that made me interested here. They fed the string into the pinhole, into the body of the guitar, a few inches. Then they pushed the pin in with the grooves against the string and pulled it all that way back up so it locked into place. Now, I haven't been doing that. I usually take the pin and put the ball of the strings just into the slot and then push it in. I don't put it in a few inches and then pull it up. I don't pull it up tight and lock it against the bridge. I'm sure it's sitting against the bridge inside the guitar because it doesn't like snap through later on at a gig or anything. But I wasn't doing that. So I thought, right, I will just try that. So I tried a set of Martin strings, different set of strings with the pins that have been angled and doing that technique. And it was, I'd say perfect. It was the way it was when Sweetwater sent me the guitar. Great. I thought this could be a fluke. So I tried another guitar. So I took my Cole Clark Angel 3, which has had a flat D string since I got it. And actually one of the reasons, I mean, I'm downsizing anyway, but I was going to sell it for this reason. And I did the same thing with the strings on that. Well, but I didn't slot the pins. I didn't do anything different. I used the same D'Addario XS strings. I just did the way you feed it in and pull it through and it's fine. It's absolutely perfect. And then I had to try one more time just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. So I looked at the Noel Gallagher Gibson and, oh, that's why they're acting up. They get fed at 5 o'clock. The Noel Gallagher Gibson guitar was very slightly flat on the D. So I did it on that and it's not flat anymore. So how can something so small make such a difference? And why is it only on that one string? There's something about the D string, the size of the string, I guess, that it's not completely connecting at the bottom of the pin in the guitar. When I say the bottom of the pin, what I really mean is, you know, the ball end of the string doesn't sit at the bottom of the pin. It sits against the guitar, right up against the guitar inside. That is just not, that just wasn't, I guess that wasn't, I know, I feel crazy saying it. I can't believe this is the fix. But it's just fixed 3 guitars that had a problem. So either, and I'll report back on this in a future live stream, either it's just the humidity. I mean, it's very humid today. Maybe the humidity has affected something. Maybe I got bad strings and I just got 3 good sets of strings in a row. Or it's the way that I've run the string through that pin now. I don't know. But it's fixed the problem. I'm very happy about it. And I'm glad that I'm glad I've discovered this. I'm glad that I didn't pay for the plec. I do still want the plec on all my guitars, but it would have been, in regards to fixing intonation, it wouldn't have done anything. It would have wasted money. But yeah, so let me know. Have you, I mean, we have a comment here. Look. There was a comment here. Yeah, I find that the D'Addario strings don't intonate my Furch very well. Most of them on G, and there we go, G and D. I need to use higher. So you should try what I did. I mean, I can't be the only one with this problem, right? I can't be. No one talks about this stuff. My biggest, the thing I don't like the most with these videos is people don't say why you do stuff. So when you do a restringing video, they don't say why you, like, so if I made a new restringing video today, I'd say, right, take the string, take the pin, make sure it locks against, and this is because it can avoid intonation issues on the especially on the D string. I've not seen a single video that mentions that, and it can't just be me this has happened to. It can't be. So I'm glad you put that comment because you're saying exactly the same thing. The Dario strings on the G and the D don't intonate well. That is my problem. So maybe that will fix your problem as well. Please try it and let me know what you think. That's the only difference that I made. I put the string into the bar. I didn't just like sneak the ball end of the string into the guitar and then immediately put the pin against it and like push it in with the pin into the guitar. I fed the string in a few inches, so then the pin is completely clear of that and just going in against the bare string, not the ball. The ball end of the string is way down in the guitar. Not way down, but it's not making any contact at that point. Then I pushed it in firmly and pulled the whole string up so the ball then slams against the side. I mean, not too aggressive, but I pulled it up and made sure I felt it lock against it. Then I put it through the end, and then that pin even then popped out a little bit. You just push it back in again, but it still fixed the problem. So what do you think about that? Let me know. All I can say is I've just fixed 3 guitars doing that. They're fine. So I don't know. I guess it was that if I won't shout about it yet, but if I do this on the restring for a couple of months and I have no more issues with that, I'll have to make a video, like an updated how to restring a guitar video, because it's really made a huge difference to me. I bet this happens to a lot of people, but they probably, let's face it, a lot of acoustic guitarists don't play up the neck, so they wouldn't ever hear the issue with the intonation. Oh, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. And I did just use 3 sets of strings, so that really helps me out. The problem with the I hate that word. The Dario XS. I love great strings, by the way. But the problem with them is they're about $20 a set. So it's an expensive experiment. But I'm really glad. I'm so happy. That Cole Clark has had a bad D string since I ever restrung it. But the new technique I'm so happy now. There's nothing worse than soloing and hear that D string out of tune. It sucks. And now it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to take that guitar to the gig tomorrow. I can't wait. Yeah, no, you're right. Obviously, you need an accurate tuner. So here's what you want to do. Get yourself the Peterson Strobo Clip HDC. This is the new one that's got the USB charging. No batteries required. Just charge up with a USB cable. Put it on the headstock. And I actually tested this one behind me. This one was fine. So I don't know. I guess it depends on the guitar as well, and the way the guitar's made, and the way the string goes in the slot, etc., etc., etc. But all I can tell you is that the Gibson, the Maton, the Cole Clark, and I think my Martin Custom Shop isn't perfect either. I'm going to try it on that one finally as well. See if it fixes it on there. Look, I'm not saying that acoustic guitars are out there that don't. I'm not saying that you might not have a guitar. No, what am I trying to say here? I'm not saying your guitar is perfectly intonated and doesn't need the treatment that I mentioned earlier with having a professional make you a special saddle, or maybe the guitar was just not made right at the factory. That can happen. But I've just had so many guitars with this D string issue that, yeah, I'm so happy that I kind of figured it out. Boomer says, I always use Martin strings on my guitars. Also use the method just described. I set the ball end deep. Right. Add the pin and pull upwards. Yes. For me, that fixed the issue. I can't believe it. Because I was still... The ball of the string I was still pulling it up. It was still locking in place. But there's something about the pin going in smoothly. And then I don't know. Or it's just a fluke. But 3 guitars can't be a fluke, can it? I just did 3 guitars. And they're all fine. So... thank goodness I didn't try and throw loads of money at that to try and fix that, because it wouldn't have fixed the problem. I might have had to I could have had a new saddle made and intonated, and then if I had started restringing it differently, it would have been out of tune again because I'm using a different. It's you got to fix the root of the problem and not try and put a band-aid over it, right? I always use Martin strings, also use them. Yeah, that's that. I think that's it, but I don't know. Like I said, it could be a fluke. I don't know, but I'm very happy with the results on those 3 in a row. So there's got to be something to it. Yeah, cheers, Jim. Well, if you want to support the channel, if you find that helpful, because like I said, I'm wary sometimes of bringing this up at all, because let's face it, if there's a musician out there in the world that plays open chords and Bob Dylan songs and doesn't play up the neck and doesn't solo, if I show them how to check something on their guitar and prove to them that their guitar has an issue, I'm just going to upset them. I'm just pointing something out. I'm pointing out an issue with their guitar. They didn't even know about it. It doesn't matter to them. They don't play up the neck. So sometimes I'm hesitant to say anything. But the way I see it is that I've just drastically improved the playability of the guitars. They're now intonated. They're going to sound better when I play them. They're going to sound better in open chords. They're going to sound better, especially better when I play up the neck. So I'm really relieved that I seem to have figured this out. And I will, I'm happy to admit that it was basically user error, of course. And I'm happy to point out this, because there's got to be someone out there right now that's experiencing the same thing. I've seen people in forums say their D string is flat, so it is a thing. But yeah, let me know if you're watching this video. Let me know if you get a chance. Like I said, you do have to use a good tuner. You can do it by ear as well, but really a good tuner like this on the guitar, a quiet room, get that open D perfectly in tune, perfect, 100% in tune, and then fret lightly. If you press hard, it will go sharp. So press lightly, light to medium on that 12th fret, pick that note cleanly, mute the other strings. Is that D perfectly in tune? If it's flat and you see it flat, next time you restring, try doing what I mentioned in today's video. And I think that will fix your problem. And obviously I'm here every Monday, so I'll update you as the weeks and months go by. I'll be restringing the guitars and I'll really get a sense if my issue has gone away or not. But I really think that's got something to do with it, and it's amazing. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's I wanted to cover the new iPads, the new Logic Pro, and let's see if the update is out yet. They said the Logic Pro update would be out today, but it's not out yet. I guess they found a bug. Oh no, it says update. My bad. Yep, Logic Pro 11.0 is out. And the update says, yep, like I said, session players, session drums, session bass player, session keyboard player, and isolate parts with AI, and a bunch of other stuff too, which is cool. That's all about now to version 11. So previously we've had 10 point so and so. Now we've actually got version 11.0. It's a major version. It says what's new: AI enhanced tools. New AI enhanced tools join Smart Tempo and the pitch correction plugin to augment your artistry. Very exciting stuff. I'm going to try that out tonight. In fact, I'm going to try that out right now, of course, because I can't wait. And if you're into music production, then you should definitely check it out. Yeah, it's fun. Talking about complicated things, Logic is kind of complicated, but it's one of those things you just have to start using it, and you just learn a little bit each month as you go along. I had a Martin that is, you had a G chord in tune and an E chord, but not what? I had a Martin, a G chord in tune, then an E chord would not. Had to change a G string. Yeah, but I've said this before. When I talk about intonation, I don't mean. Let me just show you. Hang on, I want to show on the screen what I'm talking about. All right, so I keep every week I keep saying the same thing. I know, but a guitar and a piano is not perfectly intonated. Okay, if you play a chord here, a D chord, and you play a G chord, they can't both be perfectly intonated because the guitar is not perfect. So there are compromises up and down the neck of an instrument like a guitar or a piano. But what I'm talking about is D string open to D string fretted an octave higher at the 12th fret. Okay, so you can do it by ear. If you've got good pitch accuracy with your ears, listen. So I can hear that's fine. You can also do it with the harmonic. They should sound the same. So open string should sound an octave lower than the fretted note because it is an octave lower, right? And the harmonic should sound the same as the fretted note. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the distance between the saddle and the nut at the 12th fret. That should be the perfect note. All this other stuff you have to just live with, like the fact that this D can't be intonated in that tuning the same as this E because of the compensation going involved. That's just something you got to live with. That's just the way it is. The only way around that is to get the squiggly frets and all that weirdness going on, and the special compensated nut and all the squiggly frets. So just to be clear, I'm not talking about that. That stuff is an issue, but that doesn't bother me. What was bothering me is the fact that when I played the open D string and I was like recording a loop in D, and then I took a solo up here, when I hit that D, it was flat, and so basically it was doing this. Not that badly, but that's basically what it was doing. You could hear it had dropped, and then of course all the way up that string it had dropped down because of that. So that's what I'm doing. And you can test your guitar, and please do let me know. Play, like I said, play the open string, use a tuner, get it perfectly in tune, and then play the 12th fret with that tuner. That should be also perfectly in tune. So on this guitar, everything was fine. I just tested this a minute ago before I went live. Everything's fine with this guitar. So it could also be just the way the bridge is constructed on different guitars. I don't know, or there could be some luck involved as well, something like that. But yeah. Always pull the string tight by the saddle, but also push down on the string above the nut a few times. Always pull the string tight. Yeah, that's the most important thing. When it comes through there, it locks into place. And then you also push down the string above the nut up here. Yeah. And then I always pull them in. I always I hold down here so it doesn't pop out of the nut and damage the nut. And I pull up. I stretch them in. A lot of players don't stretch their strings in when they change the strings, and they tune up for a gig and everything's in tune, and they hit a chord hard and everything just goes straight away, just goes out of tune. Where if they actually sat and getting all the trolls today, if we sat and actually pulled the strings in, that wouldn't be a problem, right? Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to monitor this, and if this issue goes away for me, I'm going to make an updated how to restring a guitar video, and in each step of the process, I'm going to show why I'm doing that thing, what that is preventing. I think it'll be cool. And then one other thing, I have been trying some locking tuners as well on the acoustic, which I like, but I like them, but I can give or take them. I can take them or leave them. But this thing for me has been a revelation. I hope this is the answer because I've been complaining about this for so many months. I really hope this is the end of it now, but we'll see. And here's the thing. If it's not the end of it, I'm just going to accept it and move on with my life because there's no point trying to find someone that can fix the guitar that is sometimes okay, because if they fix it, then the chances are, well, what's going to happen is there'll be a time when it's not okay because it was okay before I sent, so it's, I'll find out anyway. But I'm really pleased that it seems to have fixed those issues. I'll try a G minor 7 at 10th fret if that's in tune. Intonation is correct. Yeah. Wow, I just... Yeah, there's a bunch of chords you can do to test that. But my favorite test, like I said, is the strobe tuner, 12th fret, harmonic, 12th fret note. This is really good. Yeah. All right, so Lee says, I missed that. The cat just came in with a big rat in his mouth. Well, I'm not surprised you missed it, but when I finish the stream, go back and watch that part again, Lee. I think you'll find it interesting. Thomas Moore said, I always put the ball end in the same way for every string and bend it down. I saw them where they said put a kink in the string. I tried that. Then someone else said, don't put a kink in the string. Keep the string completely as it was. So I didn't put the kink in the string. And I also didn't need to sand those pins down like I saw in Film at Night's video either. I have done that on one of the Maitons now. And it doesn't hurt it. But I think the biggest thing, the most important thing is definitely to put the string farther into the guitar, so when you put the pin in, the ball end is way past it, and then pull it up, and then make sure it locks into place. We'll see. This is all speculative right now. I just did 3 guitars like that. They're all fine. We'll see what happens. I'll update you next time. All right. So thank you for watching. It's been a great hang as always, and I'll say thank you to our moderators for helping me with the trolls today, and thank you to the trolls for giving the moderators something to do. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. It helps me out to get the old numbers up. They've gone up very steadily, and I appreciate people watching. Lots of comments lately, lots of likes and questions. This is awesome. Don't forget, in the video description, I have my affiliate link to Sweetwater. If you're in America and buying something, click on my link before you buy something. It helps me out. Next time you restring, try what I said. If you want, the video I used was Phil McKnight. The mistakes people make when restringing a guitar, acoustic guitar. So watch that video and do exactly what he says. Like I said, he says to sand down the pins. I didn't find I needed that. I don't know if he puts a kink or not. I don't think he does. The main thing is the way he says, put the string in a few inches and then lock it in place. That's the main thing I took from that video. So I'll let you know. I'll probably restring those guitars again this week just to test them. I'll probably order another set of those strings, test it one more time. If that is the case, if everything's good, then I'll let you know next week. So stay tuned for that. But it's really it's amazing that it's really improved the guitar a lot. Some of those guitars, amazing. It's funny because Rosanna just had drama with their cat with a rat, and I just had drama with my cat and a box of tape. I'm not sure what's worse, because when a cat eats tape from a box, they usually throw it up all over the bed, which is horrible. Or maybe you'll geek bag one day and then you'll have a real problem with the cat. But Rosanna's cat brought a rat in the house. I don't know what I prefer, honestly. Neither is ideal. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks, Live Run. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end it now. I'm going to check out Logic Pro 11. And have a great week. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Subscribe, ring the bell, watch out for any videos. And if not, I'll be here for next week's live stream. Take care and be well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I need a holiday is what she said to me. I need to get away from you. And as I watched her lying next to me, I wished for a holiday too.